Welcome to the Power Portals of Avalon. Now, this video is probably going to be one of my favorite because this location or this sacred portal is my favorite because this is the Glastonbury Abbey. And who built the Glastonbury Abbey? It is indeed Joseph Arimathea. He is the son of Anna, grandmother of Jesus, the brother of Mother Mary, the uncle of Yeshua, and yeah, just very integral part of the divine plan, especially Yeshua's one. He was almost like a custodian, a keeper, a protector of Yeshua. He made sure that Yeshua got to all his initiations. He held his space. He was also a very rich businessman, very successful in his time, very much in with the Romans, the right people. So he could like put some gold across the palm to make sure that the Holy Family had safe passage to get to this place and that place. You know, he was so integral in like kind of like call it the logistics. I always say Joseph Arimathea always helps me with logistics, but he was a massive activator of the divine plan. So he was the one that oversaw everything and kind of made sure the physical travel happened. And like I say, it was smooth. So Joseph has a very big superpower, as it were, in helping us in creating that divine plan. Now, this is probably one of his biggest creations because he built the Glastonbury Abbey. Now, back in the day in its timeline, it was the biggest abbey in the world. And I have just sat in channel with him just before I did this video. So much we talked about, and he was talking about how coming together, you know, not being one up on your own anymore is very much part of the message now. Because he said to me, I did not build this on my own. It took many hands, many hearts, many vision, you know, from many visions that needed to be held. He says, yes, we kind of like lost our faith now and again, but as a collective, we made sure the energy and frequency was stayed high, and we maintained that energy with us. So it was a collective thing. It was not done in us. It was a group effort, basically. And he said, that is where you're at right now. It takes a village, right? So the way I connect with Joseph, when it comes to my missions, because as you know, I do a lot of work in Egypt, and that's where the Tablets of Light groups are, and now in Avalon. And my mission is to awaken or help as many people remember who they are so they can express the fullness of their divine blueprint, however that might look. Freedom, right? So that is what my mission is all about. And sometimes it gets arduous and heavy. And let me tell you, doing groups in Egypt and international facilitating and just getting us all together, it takes a lot of legwork. And he helps me ever such a lot. Now, usually I have Joseph on my right side and Toth on my left, and we stare at the pyramid for ages. And their message is always, look at the pyramid. It took a family to build it. Look at the abbey. It took a family to build it. And that's what Toth and Joseph speak about ever such a lot, that it is all about co-creation, right? And we must build a foundation which is very strong. So these creations, we leave a legacy. This is a legacy. The pyramids are a legacy. Wasn't built with one person. It was a collective. Build it. And it will last if you build it properly, right? So this is always his message, and he helps me ever such a lot. And maybe he will you, if you sort of sit in meditation with him. He will give you guidance on how to really put the ideas, the thoughts into things, how to maintain your power of courage, and how to maintain your faith and everything like that. Because that's what it takes to build things like this, right? That is still standing now, right? So let me just like step into now how I met Joseph, right? And he's just saying now, because he's very strong with me today, build it and they will come. That's the message he always tells me, whispers in my ear. Build it and they will come. And it's also a famous tagline on a film, I do believe. But he always says to me, build it and they will come. Because there's a big trust factor with us stepping out there and creating something big and just hoping it's all going to turn out okay. So that's what he always says to me, build it and they will come. So that is the message of the day, I think. Now, moving on, how did I meet Joseph? Now, this is a funny story. So rewind, not here. Let's go back to Egypt, right? So I went to Egypt before I even started doing groups there. I actually went on my own pilgrimage to the land, went and asked Lady Egypt, can I do groups here? Went through all the temples. Anyway, we ended up at this place, which is on the Tablets of Light tour in Egypt. We ended up adding it in, and it's a place called the Hanging Church. And there's another church next to it. But anyway, that's not important. It's the crypt that is underneath, right? This tiny little crypt is where where Mary and Joseph, meaning Yeshua's father, and little baby Yeshua hid out when they were running and they had to hide out in Egypt. They had to hide in this little crypt. Next to this crypt is a well. And I remember stood around this well going, that's nice. Didn't feel any energy at the time. Very short little crypt. When you walk through, it's only that long. And then you come out the other side, and I was like, wow, that was a beautiful experience. Thought nothing of it. Went home that afternoon for an afternoon nap. And all of a sudden, just as I was drifting off, I shot off the bed, like loads of electricity came through, and I just heard the name Joseph. Now, I naively was like, Joseph, as in Mary and Joseph? Okay. Unbeknownst to me, not really thinking, I was actually reading a book about Joseph Arimathea at the time, and I didn't put two and two together. It took me a while, and he's like, wake up. It was actually Joseph Arimathea whose energy blasted me off the bed. So then when I got that, I sat with him and I was like, okay, so you're with me. And that's when he started to show himself, stood at my right side, Toth on my left, and we would look at the pyramids, right? He was the one who guided me back to Avalon. Here's the funny thing. I'm born just down the road. This is where where I popped in off a star. That's where I was born. This is in my bones. And I haven't been here for years. So he got hold of me in Egypt, sent me all the way back to Avalon and was like, right, now pay attention. And be like, that's exactly what happened. So then I started to sit with him and channel him and everything like that. And I was already deeply connected to Anna, grandmother of Jesus. I know a lot of you are too. So maybe that's a place to start. Call Anna in, call the family in. We started to have many, many conversations. Now, flash forward. So I now came to Avalon, listening to his guidance, and I went on a priestess group. Not one of mine. I intended somebody else's, right? Now, this is where this story gets good, all right? So now, picture the scene. Marie's going to go into storytelling mode now, right? Picture the scene. It was a rainy day. And it was true because England rains a lot. It was summertime, right? And we were basically coming to this place here. Now, I can step aside here and show you as you get a visual, right? So we were walking. So if you come back here, so like back that way, or rather back that way, in a way, there is a ley line. You see that? You see that there? Get my finger right. You see that? I've got to get it right because this is always mirrored on these videos. See that? There we go. You see that there? That is a ley line, right? And it comes all the way back. So we started to walk towards here because guess what? Guess who lies here? Joseph Arimathea. I'd looked for that guy all over England, right? And I kept getting told he was in different places. I'd been here many times and I was looking for him. It was here, right? This particular day. This is obviously why he didn't want me to find him until I was with this beautiful priestess group, because we just where it's supposed to be. Rain is coming down. So we walk down this ley line and we all stand at this crypt here. And I put my hands on the top of the tomb there. So did everybody else. And as I was walking in, I was hearing that build it and they will come, build it, they will come. And I was like, okay, I think that's Joseph talking to me. So we go down in meditation, put our hands on the crypt. And then all of a sudden, I can just feel this energy come through. And it gets stronger and stronger. And then I put my hand up to say, I think I have a message. And as I put my hand up, my hands started doing this. So I'll clap my hands together to just hold them. And then they started doing this and I start convulsing. Listen, this is not, it sounds funny, but this is in public, man. There were people that just stood around going, what is wrong with her? And I just came out with these words and it was an absolute pure channel. I've never channeled anybody like that. It wasn't even an effort. It just came through, kaboom. I don't remember what I said, but I know what I saw. And he was showing me walking across the grounds here, the monks' dresses flicking as they were walking. The second lot of feet that I was shown were from the early 1900s. Now, in the world, the early 1900s, Egypt exploded. So did Avalon. There was a lot of energy activity at those times. Then the third set of feet he showed me were like people in flip-flops and trainers and things like that. So we had 3 timelines. And then I came out of it and I'd obviously been speaking. I don't know what I'd said. And I just remember saying, hold the light. It is important that we hold the light with times to come. Hold the light. Now that was 2 years ago. So now I know with what's going down now, I was like, that's what he was talking about. So I'm shaking like this, convulsing. I remember coming round from this channel because I have never experienced a channel like that. So me and Joseph got real close on that day, pouring down with rain. And just as I came out of the channel, we start to hear this harp playing. I'm telling you, this is the truth. This harp starts playing. And this woman was sat right here, okay, in this bit here, with her harp playing. And then she moved to sit on top of the crypt there, okay? And I step aside and she's playing a harp. It was like something out of a movie. And then my friend tapped me on the shoulder and goes, look at her earrings. And she was wearing anks. And I was just crying and crying and crying. So, of course, having received such a big, powerful energy charge and a massive channel from Joseph, I was after that, you know, you kind of get in your head and you're like, okay, how can I recreate this? And he said, seek me in your heart and there you shall find me. And I was like, wow. And after that, I was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. But he had to bring me here because he was the one that kind of delivered the idea of or the possibility that, like, you know, because I can be very stuck in the mud. I can be very stubborn. And he was just like, what if you just opened up and allowed the divine feminine frequencies of Avalon to come in, because it will actually exponentially ignite your superpowers in Egypt. And I was too busy holding on to Egypt because that's all I knew. And there was a little bit of like, oh God, I don't want to let go of this. I let go of it. And I didn't let go of anything to leave me. I let go so it could expand into something more. Now, that is what Joseph and all of the divine priestesses that came in, energies, the mothers and everything like that from this land. So when I come here, every time I put my hands on that crypt, I just get an energy charge. It's so big. And I do kind of say, like, listen, Joseph, can we not do that in public? Because I was like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I was another level, that was. Do you know what I mean? But it was so, so powerful. And that's what I'm talking about, like, you know, the energy of Avalon, number one, and number two, understanding the divine plan. He needed me to understand it. And we got a black well. It's called the black well. We have one here. You have the chalice well. You know, there's also a well in the Great Pyramid as well, under the Great. It all weaves into one. And that's what Joseph was trying to show me, right? So, you know, how he can help you. And, you know, it's basically, I'm just looking about what I wrote down here. The divine plan. What's yours? Go get your pen to your journal. What is your divine plan? Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to birth 12 children like Anna, grandmother of Jesus. Or maybe it is. Maybe you've got a Messiah in that line. I don't know. Do we even need another Messiah, though? Because we've got the memo and we understand that's in each and every one of us, not from an ego standpoint, from a self-realization standpoint, you know? So the time is now. That channel came through about a year, 2 years ago, probably about 2 years ago. And it was talking about this timeline now. It is time for you to step up, to know that you're supported. You cannot lose. Joseph also said to me as well this morning, as I was sat in chats with him, that it's in the stillness that you can hear. We think that we're so devoid of our guides. And he said, no, you just haven't quieted down enough to be able to hear us. You know, you don't hear us. We're always here. So just to leave this video with you right now, and, you know, in this beautiful new moon energy, because we're like coasting on that, even though it was yesterday, we're still coasting on that, you know. What is your divine plan? What do you seek to express in the world? And then when you have that come forward, don't make a fear-based choice of closing in, because like, how's that going to happen? You call in Joseph Arimathea and he will help you build it so they can come. So thank you for listening, and thank you for receiving this beautiful place, because it's so dear to my heart. And I'm even getting quite emotional because I can feel him all around. So I'm going to sign off the video, share this beautiful heart magic with you now. And yeah, perhaps I'll see you in Avalon, you know, or Egypt at the well. Who knows, in this crazy spiritual life. Peace.